name's Mark Longbottom, and creatively, who knows? Really, I do visual artwork, I've done performance artwork, and a lot of community building, developing online, offline. So conceptually, community development, visually, collage, photography, performance work was as a living sculpture. So from about 1985 to 2002, I performed as a living sculpture, 8 hours a day on a box, not moving with an audience. Did lots of trade shows, whatever, but the main aim was it was performance art, looking at human behaviour. So I was analysing people's human behaviour. In the last 20 years, I've worked web and graphic design as well as social media consultancy. So the consultancy work lives off the human behavioural stuff. So it's still my sort of thing, is looking at human behaviour, how people interact with each other, which was also part of the online communities, which began, I don't know, my social network in about 1982, 83. I was writing to people, started off locally, nationally, globally, got into mail art, which is just basically postal art networks, and was heavily involved in those from 83, 84 to the mid to late 90s. 1999, some of these people started saying, do you want to do collaborative artwork on websites? So I got involved in that. 2005, 6, Facebook, YouTube, Google's stuff changed, so everyone's going MySpace and what have you. At the time, I was running an art fair in Marsden, near Huddersfield, which was going all right. 2007, we found MySpace, and we wanted artists in the art fair that were going to bring people out of the city to the village for experimental, which didn't happen. But it eventually started getting there with the fact that we found MySpace. I found all the people that I'd known through the mail art network. So then within a year, we had 20,000 friends. We didn't do the art fair past 2008, so I took the online community as it was, grew it to wherever and whatever it was. At one point, I had a Ning community, which was free, 13,000 page website. People could set up their own art profile, basically. That closed down, but I always moved those people to wherever we needed to be, where they were. So where they're active on Facebook, Twitter, became Instagram and Facebook now. So it's a Facebook group and a Instagram profile where I just share their work. So it's all still back to that human behavioural thing and the connection, how to get and build like relationships which build into communities. So you connecting people. The important thing is to get the conversation going so they're actually cooperating, collaborating, and just being. So it isn't, for me, like the creative thing isn't the sales. The creative bit is always going to be about how we connect, how we behave together, and then behave with a local community, national, global, online, offline. But it's within everything I've done, without knowing it at the time, it all goes back to how people interact. From my fine art degree, where I didn't want to be seen as a fine art student in Leeds, at Leeds Poly, by being dirty and grubby and fashionably grubby. So I wore a suit and tie for a while, made my office space in the studio, and just went out to do artwork wherever. But it became that my whole being was my artwork. So that's what I'm still doing in a sense, but not performing or saying I'm performing. But it's then within things like a LinkedIn group that business people joined in 2010, 12. I said, well, it's just a conceptual piece of artwork. And they go, no, it's not. But what it was, I was trying to show them that you could have a LinkedIn group that wasn't about sales, but was about talking. So again, it's trying to bring people together to actually just talk about the thing they want to talk about and look for that time with people. So I'm seeing a lot of difference now where people are online talking isn't the same as the mail art. And I want to sort of bridge that gap where people had time for each other. Now it's I don't know, it's akin to opposition politics. So you hate something that isn't what you think. You only talk to people that like what you like. So my creative element was always to get people to like, dislike, and then talk about it. So by doing the living sculpture and the sort of busking as a living sculpture, I was trying to see if anyone would actually push me because I wasn't doing what they expected of me. Yeah, from being, well, let's just say being kicked around by students at Leeds Poly or abused by people there, like the tutors, the staff, whoever. General public going past were like, fine. They were going, oh, we haven't seen this since the 60s. Some people were a bit, what's going on? But they were getting involved, not because it's art. So I took a lot of my things outside the gallery because you were like, there's your environment, you're in it, you're in control because you are risk-free here. I'm the one that's at risk. But they brought me into their thing and they encouraged. Some people were abusive, some people weren't, but I was asking for that anyway. I was asking for a reaction. So it is always about trying to get an interaction or a reaction and people to participate, even with two-dimensional work, trying to get people to talk about it rather than just, oh, it's crap because it's abstract. Oh, I can tell what that is. Oh, I like that because I can see. So I think that's really what I don't know whether it's a lifelong thing. I'm now doing some sport work with special needs students, and I'm learning from them how to put stuff into my own work by not having to do what you're assuming you need to be doing. Because I've always said to people that I've consulted, worked with, or trained, so, well, you just be who you are, not the person you think others want you to see. And I've fallen into the trap and tried to be the thing that I thought people wanted, and it hasn't worked. And now, I could have a 16-year-old sort of just being themselves. And I think, well, yes, aren't we learning from this? So going on from that, it is, in my mind, I'm trying to settle where I need to be and what I want to do really creatively, which will always be to help people and to help them maybe understand their own creativity, deliver that, or just join in, be part of something.
There's a lot of talk at the moment with regard to sort of links between creativity and positive mental well-being. What would your thoughts be on that?
So the mental health and well-being, for me, especially now I'm working in an area that focuses on that, is that it doesn't have to be seen as a negative first. So people's mental health could be positive and we can build on that. So what are we doing? It's the same as everything else. What makes us feel okay? What makes us happy? What's effectively making us feel positive and move on? And those are sort of things I've always wanted to try and do with people. So especially in consultancy, it was, you need to do this to get this result. In creative and artwork, for me, when I was performing and thinking, if ever I stopped standing still or standing on a box all day, if I could give that feeling to someone else, the feeling that you could stand in a square, do nothing, and feel, I don't know, I just felt like I was on top of the world because there was 300-400 people all day long just wondering what I was doing or joining in. So it was always something happening. And that, in a sense, that's the bit that sort of inspires me, enthuses and entertains me to do more. So I was thinking, if someone got that feeling from something they did, whether it's been a butcher, a baker, an artist, whatever, but it doesn't have to be that I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a TV presenter. For me, it's right, how do we feel well in ourselves by doing something that we enjoy, not something that we think we should because we're going to get loads of money. So I don't know, is it my perfect job or not, but standing still doing nothing was perfect because I had that time to think about how people interacted that then sort of fed into everything else I was doing, and it made me sort of well within myself. And in the last 10-15 years, I've had ups and downs, not general or sort of diagnosed depression, but been really down because I haven't been able to maybe pay for things or afford in a way that I wanted to live. Not that I'm after millions, but it was circumstances just meant wasn't good. But I was still being creative, and that was sort of the bit to get away from things. And now I'm working on something that's as rewarding as that performing, and that's stimulating my mind to be creative more than it had in the interim. Although I was being creative, I wanted to do my own things again, sort of stimulated from the people around me. So whereas everything has always been about connecting with people globally, that's the thing that makes me feel well within myself, because I'm learning from everyone else and I'm then passing that on. So it might be an artist in Argentina, America, Botswana, anywhere. You know, I at one point was writing someone in Burkina Faso who lived in a mud grass hut, and he was sending me things that he thought I'd like, and he had everything he wanted. So what do we want is probably I think for me the well-being is not that everyone can or can't have it. It's knowing what they do need for themselves, not want, but what do they need to just be sort of comfortable and relaxed, and then challenge themselves as well. But I think there's a lot of pressure now on people having something regardless of whether they want it. So are they having to have something that they don't really want? Can they find the thing? I don't know. It's whether it's for me to answer, but I'd like to help people with that, even if it's the most of it is stripping it down to a conversation. So those conversations that originally I had with people just through the mail have taken fruition to things to help to each other. Still talking to people now, 35 or so years on, or people that I've known for 5 to 10 years. But it's a conversation that grows into that trust and sort of the genuine sort of understanding of each other, trusting each other. But yeah, I think it is important. The creative bit is important, or whether that's creative thinking rather than critical thinking, which I did at university with some marketing students, where it's all about critical thinking, which is good. There's nothing wrong with being strategic, but you need that open-ended creative bit first. I think the creative thinking opens our mind more than just having this structure, because you can come to the structure, but we need to find in a sort of totally open way what we actually want. Might not be what we think we want, but if we're comfortable, is that not a place to be?